yeah, we looking like giants. Trendsetter, high fashion, we stylish. Talking pressure on it, we apply. Not talking playgrounds when I say that we slide. Going live from
the first one gonna be public breastfeeding.
Okay.
Alright, so let's talk about this. Now, public breastfeeding, that's an ongoing topic like all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people don't see eye to eye on it, but I think the consensus is just that most of us are trying to normalize it. Most of society is trying to normalize it so that it's not a weird thing. Right. I want to get y'all's thoughts on public breastfeeding, starting with you, Kim.
Look, you really want to start with the mother?
Yeah. Tell me how you feel.
I mean, because at the end of the day, it is a natural thing. This is how you feed your child. Mm-hmm. Everybody doesn't believe in giving a child formula. I mean, and if you take it back to your roots, like, how did you feed your child before?
Right.
And so me feeding my child, like, y'all don't have no problems with strippers going out exposing themselves, just people exposing themselves in general in this day and age. So what's the problem with me as a mother feeding my child?
Shouldn't be no problem with it.
It's not my fault. You know, people's minds tend to go to perversion, like, oh, she got her breast out. Like, that's not cool.
Right. What you think?
I'm kind of riding with her, but not kind of. I'm riding with her.
Yeah.
Because, like she said, you see strippers, that's glorified. The porn industry is huge nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, for you to say, oh, well, you shouldn't have your breast out feeding a child in public comes off as control.
Right.
It's another way to control what a woman does with her body.
Yeah, to be real, I gotta say I agree with y'all too, but I think it's another factor at play that people don't really talk about that much, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring up this topic too. Is I remember what it was like being a kid, being a young boy, seeing a titty out in public, and later on being told that I'm weird for looking. You know what I'm saying? For being young. And you know how it is when young boys be having they hormones and shit going all over the place and not knowing what to do. I think the only part about this I don't like is when people tell young guys that they weird for seeing it a certain way.
Well,
go ahead.
And I mean, you're a child, so you're expected to think these thoughts without education behind why this woman's breast is out. Like, but when you're an adult, there's no justification for any type of ignorance while I'm feeding my child.
Right.
Now, do I think that women should be a little more discreet? Like, have your cover up more, or drape your shirt down a little bit. Get her shirt up, and the baby right here, and she's breastfeeding, and the shirt was up here. So I'm just like, oh, I ain't gonna feed your baby, but drape the shirt down a little bit. Like, just don't walk out with your breast exposed.
Well, how tight was her shirt? And it made a dire moment where she needed to feed the baby then.
She had on a t-shirt, and I mean, me personally, like I said, I'm a mother of two. I don't see nothing wrong. Feed your baby when you gotta feed your baby. At the end of the day, you came from a woman. You were made from a woman. Right. So any part of a woman's body should not be offensive to a man or a woman.
I don't think so either. I don't think anybody should be offended by it. Yeah. I do think that small factor when it comes to the young boys, I do think it's worth talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think those guys should feel like they weird about it, but then I see where you coming from too. But then what you said leads me to ask this question. Do y'all think that like, as far as from what you said, what I got from what you said was that the young boys have to be introduced to it to see it that way, right? Yeah. Do you not think that that's natural? Do you not think that if you're not introduced to it in that way, as far as a young boy, a young man, if he's not introduced to it in that way, that he won't find breast sexual at all?
In a certain, if he's never been introduced to it, but at some point he will be introduced to it. But I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. You may have a 4 or 5-year-old boy still breastfeeding.
Right.
It's possible.
And he definitely won't see it that way.
He won't see it that way because he hasn't been exposed to the sexual side of breast. It's only been a food source for him his whole 5 years of living. Mm-hmm. As opposed to the other 4-year-old
I'm not sure
breastfeeding for 4 years, he doesn't see the sexual context. He only sees a form of feeding.
So that's when they tell you it starts at home. It starts within the home.
There you go.
It starts within the home.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm raising 2 boys. I've been with them for about 2014, so 9 years. My kids, they don't have sisters. They don't have brothers. Their parents' only children. So with my boys, like they're raised predominantly by women. Me, my mom, my sister. So with me having 2 boys, like, it started with me. Like, let me tell you, like, oh, mommy, can you take me to the bathroom to go pee? Well, baby, I can't. I don't have the same thing you have. You have to stand up. I have to sit down. Well, mom, what do girls have? Well, girls have this and you have that. Well, mom, why your nipples so big? I was like, because girls have breasts.
Right.
And so it starts with educating your child at home. And if, for instance, if you have a toddler, or so to speak, that's still breastfeeding, you know, it's technically up to another person to educate their kids, but at the same time, it's like you also have to educate yours. Like, okay, well, if you know, you hungry, baby? Okay, well, we're going to accept in this room because it's not going to be comfortable for everybody in every situation.
Right, but even with
you gotta expect the ignorance. However, feed your child.
Even with that, I feel like you are, no matter, even if you're talking about taking your kid to the restroom and we having different body parts, you just exposing them to what a different body part is.
Right.
That body part is still not sexual.
Right.
This is how I use the restroom. I use the restroom like this as a boy. She uses the restroom like this. My sister uses the restroom like this, or my cousin uses the restroom like this as a girl.
Right.
That your genitalia becomes sexualized when you're exposed to that type of energy. But just based at the beginning, it's just a wee or whatever they would call it.
The argument could be made that it's introduced to them at school.
We sexualize
it happens
kids
at school before it happens at home.
So let me tell you. So when I used to take my children to the bathroom with me, like if we're in the store, we can be in Target. Hey, I gotta go pee, and I got this 3-year-old boy. He'll go to the bathroom with me, and because I'm an overprotective mom, I'm not leaving him standing by the sink or
no, I think that's normal.
You're gonna come in here with me.
I don't think that make you overprotective. I think
so
that's normal.
Come in here with me, but then you're gonna stand face towards the wall. Well, mommy, because mommy doesn't have the same thing as you. And even when I go to pull my pants down, I pull my pants up. So you know, you never physically seen me, see what's down there. You just know that I have something different.
Right.
So
yeah, I like those answers. And you gave us the perfect segue to the next topic, so we're gonna go there without stopping because you brought up the 2 boys you've been raising, and I actually brought forth the topic. I wanted to know about